Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
The police are working overtime to solve a rash of murders that happened in a week.
I've been here 25 years. I've never seen this before.
Minister Sohi spoke to the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce about budget changes.
As many of you know, infrastructure is the backbone of our economy and our society.
NAIT hosted a workshop for future entrepreneurs.
Without Patch, I don't think I'm gonna be here now. They helped me a lot.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening. The medical examiner just confirmed another homicide. The detectives are working overtime to solve the 6 murders that happened in 6 days.
Edmonton hasn't seen numbers like this since the spike in 2011, and it's causing people to worry about safety in our city. Our Chelsea Jensen joins us live from our news center with more on that story.
That's right, guys. They're calling it the 6 and 6. So 6 murders in 6 days. In 2011, when we saw the spike, Edmonton was named the murder capital of Canada. And in that year, there was 14 murders, and now in 2016, we're at 12. The police are investigating a murder from this week. They were dispatched to an apartment on the west side Monday morning. A woman found her 42-year-old daughter dead in her suite. And last Saturday, a middle-aged man was found in critical condition, face down, by the Belvedere LRT transit station parking lot in the early morning hours. He died later in hospital.
There's only 3 squads of homicide detectives in our unit and 3 staff sergeants, so we're scrambling big time here, and we're kind of pulling resources from all different divisions and sections within EPS right now.
In total, there are 21 homicide officers, and almost all of them were called into work this past long weekend. Half of the 12 of Edmonton's homicides this year happened in the last week.
6 and 6. Well, in my timelines in EPS, I've been here 25 years. I've never seen this before. And talking to Staff Sergeant Clark, who's been in homicide for 8 years now, he's never seen this.
The Edmonton Police are saying that the 6 murders are not related, and that many of the victims were known to police. Officers are also saying that some of the victims had a criminal record.
I find it kind of strange. You know, I just figured stuff like that in New York and Detroit, but not Edmonton. You just got to be a little more cautious, keep an eye on things.
Last year, there were 30 homicides in our city, and in 2011, we set the record at 50.
Chelsea, should Edmontonians be worried about these latest incidents?
No, the police are saying that since none of those 6 murders were related, that people around shouldn't be worried.
So have any arrests been made in relation to the murders?
Not as of right now. Right now they have a warrant out for a 21-year-old man. And with the Belvedere parking lot, right now the police are working to obtain the surveillance camera footage because they think that there are 2 women involved with that murder.
Thanks, Chelsea. That's Chelsea Jensen reporting live from our news center tonight.
NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation in news.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a quick stop in our city on Wednesday. Trudeau made his second stop in Edmonton since becoming the Prime Minister and was here to talk about the Canada Child Benefit, replacing the Conservatives' Canada Child Tax Benefit. He came to Edmonton to meet with families and to hear from them what they think about it. Another popular topic Trudeau was asked about was EI. It has become a problem for many Edmontonians as our region was left out of being one of the 12 zones in Canada as being defined as the areas most affected by the falling oil prices.
We know we need to create opportunities for young families here in Edmonton and right across the country to be successful and contribute to a brighter future for their kids and their communities.
Areas in both northern Alberta and southern Alberta have been labeled as some of the most affected, but not here in the capital region. Edmonton's jobless rate is sitting at 6.8%, which is still better than the national average.
Federal Infrastructure Minister Amarjeet Sohi says Edmonton will look forward to infrastructure funding announcements this construction season. The federal government promised $3.4 billion for municipal public transit across the country. Sohi spoke to the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce and says Edmonton can anticipate further announcements on funding for infrastructure projects as the government receives them.
As many of you know, infrastructure is the backbone of our economy and our society. Well-planned infrastructure investments generate economic growth, support communities, and leave a lasting legacy for Canadians.
Announcements are said to come after the budget is passed and following negotiation on bilateral agreements between provinces.
A local housing project is celebrating its first year of providing safe and affordable homes for Indigenous people. Ambrose Place provides a safe home for people, mostly First Nations, with a history of homelessness, mental illness, and disabilities. The residence has a support team that helps tenants improve their health and lifestyle. John Whitaker, father of an Ambrose resident, says he finds comfort knowing his son is safe.
Because of it, we don't worry.
John and his family is happy for Stephen. Stephen Gibson was among Edmonton's homeless before moving to Ambrose Place.
Residents of downtown apartment building El Mirador are finding a way to hopefully save the 50-year-old building. The city is talking about tearing down old apartment buildings downtown and replacing them with high-rise condos. Former and current residents of apartment buildings like El Mirador are trying to make sure this doesn't happen.
It's kind of like a slice of the past of, where Edmonton started out, I guess, when it was first building its area.
The group of current and former residents are looking into starting a petition to keep this unique and historical building in Edmonton. They believe the building has character and uniqueness that a lot of buildings in Edmonton don't have.
Studies show that tradesmen in Alberta are more prone to suicide and mental health illnesses. Most of the tradespeople in Alberta are from another province or another country. They are removed from their support system that can result to mental health issues. Margaret Marian, a NAIT student counselor, says opening up to someone is not a weakness, but a strength.
Talking to each other and, talking to friends and family if they are under stress and not seeing it as a stigma to admit weakness.
The Men at Risk program is created to educate tradesmen in dealing with mental health. Men at Risk was introduced at NAIT last fall, and NAIT is hoping to open the program to more people.
NAIT is helping students and alumni to build their own business. The program is called NAIT Hatch Startup Challenge. The goal of this program is to provide aspiring entrepreneurs with the skills needed for them to succeed in their endeavors. Zach Harb, a NAIT alumni and the founder of Zaxxon Incorporated, is building a project that can eliminate frozen pipes. With the help of NAIT Hatch, Zach believes he is on the right track and can succeed in his business.
Without Hatch,
Excellent. Well, I will make sure
I don't think I'm going to be here now.
And then we can start taking a peek.
They helped me a lot.
Hatch Startup offers business connections and workshops to promising entrepreneurs. If you would like to know more about NAIT Hatch, visit nait.ca/Hatch Startup.
A member of NASA made a stop in Edmonton to talk and inspire University of Alberta engineering students. Students lined up to get into the presentation delivered by the Rosetta project manager. Rosetta is a satellite that landed a space probe on a comet and performed a series of experiments. However, the speaker didn't talk just about Rosetta, but also gave some advice.
Piece of advice that I gave him was not to study for grades, but study for understanding, study for knowledge.
He went into depth about the Rosetta Comet mission and the challenges NASA faced with it. He also got into great detail and inspiration, talking about job opportunities and true success in the aerospace industry.
A local daycare is offering volunteer experience and childcare certification for Syrian refugees. Little Einstein Daycare has saved spots for women refugees to have volunteer experience. Gordon Wilkinson, the vice president of Little Einstein Daycare, says they are aiming to accomplish two tasks. The first task is to train women refugees so they can get jobs in a daycare profession. And secondly, is to open up their centers for refugee children.
It's just an opportunity for us to show that everyone is welcome here and that everyone deserves a chance. It's only appropriate that we open our doors to them and help them whatever way we can.
Volunteers need intermediate level of English to qualify. If you are interested, visit NAIT NewsWatch.ca.
The 7th annual UDodge tournament brought youth and mentors together this week. The day-long dodgeball tournament was created by the Edmonton Police Service and United Way. The goal is to bring together youth and mentors by breaking down barriers and creating better relationships.
Well, as police officers, we so often see some of the terrible things that humanity can bring, and when you come to an event like UDodge and you see the spirit of it and the relationship building of it, it really just sort of fills your bucket and rejuvenates you so that you can go out and then just keep investing yourself.
The event takes place during times like spring break or in order to prevent trouble from happening, as well as youth getting out to participate in something fun. Coming up after the break, the school term is almost over and students are on the hunt for employment.
We offer some tips for students who are looking for summer jobs.
With the oil field, a lot of kids would just go and work in Fort Mac for the summer, or even just like surveying, stuff like that. It's kind of becomes hard.
My name is Bailey Nitty, and coming up in sports, we see how the Edmonton Oil Kings did against the Brandon Wheat Kings. We meet a nuke, and I play soccer with FC Edmonton.
I'm Brian Lentz. Though we had a hot one today, a cold front is bringing us down to 11 degrees for a high tomorrow. I've got that and the rest of your weather forecast after the break.
Welcome back. I've really been enjoying the weather this spring.
I know, today was so good. I didn't have to wear my jacket all week. Here's Brian Liss with your weather forecast.
Thanks, ladies. Though it's been a warm couple of days, a cold front is sweeping across the province and dropping temperatures across the board. Let's look at your Sunday forecast. Starting in Calgary, you'll have a morning low of 4 degrees, but that sunshine-filled day will bring you up to 13 in the afternoon. As we then move into Jasper, you'll be starting a little bit chillier at -2 degrees, but again, that sun will break out and you'll have a high of 12. However, up in the north, it's looking a little bit colder as Fort McMurray starts out at -4 degrees with a 40% chance of flurries, but those will clear by the afternoon and you'll have a high of 0 degrees. Coming back to the capital region, we'll have a low of 3 and partly cloudy before everything clears up, and we'll have a high of 11 come the afternoon. Now, that 11 degrees might feel cold in comparison, but with the averages, it's looking pretty good, as normally we're around 8 degrees for a high and a low of -3. As we look at our records, we're pretty close. We were pretty close to that high set in 1992 of 22 degrees, and we're a long ways off from that -26 set in 1954. So hopefully you enjoyed the warm weather over the past couple days, as looks like you'll have to break out that spring jacket again coming up. That's been your look at weather. Back to you.
NAIT NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
The economic decline has been making it harder for Albertans to find jobs.
Yes, it has, but the search has become especially difficult for post-secondary students. Steve Watkins has more.
Finding a job can be hard, and with the economy in full recession, no one's been feeling it more than the students. Unemployment rates in Alberta have been steadily rising among all demographics, and by this time last year, around 5.4% of Albertans were unemployed. In just 12 months, that number has climbed over 2%. Youth unemployment rates, which most affect NAIT students, is even worse, with a provincial average of 12%, accounting for over 30,000 individuals. With the massive decline in the oil patch, it's left many students competing with average Albertans for once easy-to-obtain jobs.
With the oil field, a lot of kids would just go and work in Fort Mac for the summer, or even just like surveying, stuff like that. It's kind of becomes hard.
Thankfully, students aren't alone in their search for jobs. NAIT provides a variety of services designed to help those out of work, and the Advisors Center offers job counseling to all NAIT students free of charge. NAIT academic advisor Taylor Whittu says the center can do a number of things to aid students in finding prospective employment.
One of the things we'll do is resume reviews with students, so we get like a job posting or an example of a job posting a student's applying for, their current resume and cover letter. And we'll go through and step through how to kind of tailor that approach to an employer and give them suggestions.
In addition to the services provided by NAIT, there are a number of different options for those on the job hunt. Social media can play a big part in a student's success in trying to find a job, and it's recommended that all students have an easy-to-find online job profile. If you'd like to learn how to create your own profile, you can visit an advisor or you can email them at advising@nait.ca. I'm Steve Watkins, NAIT NewsWatch.
So it's looking like most of our NAIT Ooks teams did pretty well this season.
Yeah, we should be very proud of them. And the Oil Kings are fighting hard in the playoffs as well.
That's right. There's a lot of excitement going on in sports, and there's one pro team in particular that doesn't get talked to as much as the others. After a 14-day, 4-match preseason trip to Scotland, the FC Edmonton pro soccer team came home with some confidence. The boys won 3 games, tied 1, and lost none while they were away. The main purpose of the trip was to get the team prepared for the 2016 season, and they also generated some international interest while they were there.
It was very worthwhile. The footballing culture in Scotland is, you know, like everywhere else in the world. It's the only sport, if you like, in many ways, and I wanted the guys to be immersed in that from start to finish, and we were.
The Eddie season opener is tonight against Rayo OKC in Oklahoma, and the boys will be back for their home opener match on April 10th. The NAIT women's curling team brought home a bronze medal from the CCAA championships, and they're still throwing rocks. The women's team headed to London, Ontario to compete in the CCAA curling championships. They took on the Fanshawe Falcons in the 2nd versus 3rd semifinals and brought us home a bronze medal.
It was a very successful week for us. Going into it, I don't think we really knew what to expect.
While the women were able to sweep up a bronze medal, the men's team didn't end up placing at nationals. The Oil Kings stood tall against the Brandon Wheat Kings in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Minus the 9 penalties given to the Oil Kings, they still managed to keep it close. It's a slow start for both teams. No score with 13 minutes remaining in the first, but Roach backhands it in and gets robbed by Paperny. Later in the period, Provorov drives hard to the net, taking out both Olezarov and Lee, and the fans are not too happy about that one. No score going into the second until Horlick digs it out from behind the net and finds Guttenberg, who whacks it in. 1-0 Wheat Kings. Bauer hammers Campbell into the boards, and the puck makes it all the way to Carroll, who takes the shot, and Bauer is right there to deflect it in, tying the game at 1. Both teams tied at 22 shots on goal after the second. Onto the third, Nolan Patrick, 2017 NHL prospect, scores a power play goal and makes the game 2-1 for the Wheat Kings. Coulter, parked in front of the doorstep, finds the puck and shoots glove side. And that will do it for Game 3 of the round. The Oil Kings fall 3-1 to the Wheat Kings and lost again on Thursday, 5-0.
There was calls I didn't like and I wasn't a fan of, but they didn't ask my opinion when they made them, so I certainly gave my opinion to them after they made them. And you know, we got to be more single-minded of our focus.
After the NAIT men's basketball team won gold medals in both the ACAC championships and the CCAH national championships, I decided to take a closer look at just how talented this team really is. And that's when I found Jackson Jacob, a point guard from Nassau, Bahamas.
Jackson Jacob just finished his rookie season with the NAIT Ooks, where he racked up 552 points in 27 games and averaged 20 points per game. The Ooks went to provincials and beat the Medicine Hat Rattlers in the ACAC final 71-69. Jackson got 36 points in the final and also won MVP of the tournament, but that wasn't good enough for the rookie.
Like after provincials, I wasn't happy. I still wasn't satisfied with myself because I know that we have another tournament and I wanted to win it all, so I was just locked in.
The guys had one more thing to accomplish, and that was winning a national championship. Jacob dreamed of playing college basketball in North America and winning a championship his entire life. In his first year, his dreams came true. The Ooks beat the Humberhawks 79-74 in the CCAA final, giving them another gold medal, and Jacob his second tournament MVP.
Feels great. Just knowing that a lot of people spend their whole life, like 5 years, trying to get there and never got there. And we got there and we win it all. feels special.
I used to play soccer years ago, and it's been way too long since I've stepped on any kind of turf. So I joined Tyson and Johan from FC Edmonton's Pro Soccer Club to see if I still had it.
Point to your target, lock the ankle, follow through. Hey, swag! Ronaldinho Jr.
Okay, that's not so
Marta.
bad. Next was learning how to dribble, and Johan was pretty sick.
Do things like step over. When you're nice, you can do things like that.
Me, yeah, I could use the practice. Next was learning how to properly shoot a ball.
So what most people do is you want to get your knee over top of the ball and you want to hit with the waist. Okay? So when I'm going across, I'm pulling through, and then he just that.
That's good. Well done. Give a round of applause, everybody.
Seems easy, but now let's add a keeper. Pretty sure he let that one in on purpose.
Oh my God!
And that was strictly skill. Then I wondered, what would happen if I went in
So
net?
you want your hands in the middle of your body so that it's easy to react either way. Right there, right? The palm is the strongest part. So when they're close like that, the ball's not getting through there.
Alright, so far so good until we got into the diving.
This is the hard part. Yes! Oh!
Better my face than the net, right? I definitely made up for it on this one.
So it's looking like you still got it, hey?
I know, I had so much fun. They're so good, and I can't wait to check out a game.
Hopefully the Oaklands will get a win tomorrow.
Yes, fingers crossed on that one.
Coming up after the break, we became fruit stars for a day.
We package healthy snacks for kids in local schools.
This is a wonderful way to help out those who are disadvantaged.
Hair sponsored by Rock Salon and Spa.
This week, City and I volunteered with Fruits of Sherbrooke.
We help make fruit snacks for schools around Edmonton. Fruits of Sherbrooke created a program called Fruit Stars where they take in rescued fruit and make it into fruit snacks for schools across the city. We learned how to make and prepare the snacks, starting by slicing the apples, coring them, and then dehydrating them. After the process, we packed the apple chips and got them ready to distribute.
This is a wonderful way to help out those who are disadvantaged.
If you're looking to give back to the community, join Fruit Stars Thursdays and Saturdays at Westmount Community Hall. For more information, visit fruitsofsherbrooke.ca.
Now we've got entertainment, and I'm excited for the upcoming arts events that are happening over at our rival, MacEwan.
Not only those, but the band Winter Sleep was in Edmonton. Here's our entertainment reporter Nathan Spence to tell us more.
That is correct. I've got lots of things for you to do this week. For starters, if you're into amazing live music for a cheap price, and let's be honest, who is it? Then I'd suggest heading down to the Grant MacEwan Big Band concert this Monday night. The Big Band concert marks the final performance of the semester for music students. The concert consists of 2 hours of ballroom-style music from MacEwan's 2 big bands. Director Raymond Barrell expressed the tradition of big band music.
It's a tradition that was built, in music back in the 1930s with the dance bands, but it's a tradition which has continued, and our students still do that today.
The concert takes place on campus at the John L. Harr Theatre. It starts at 7:30 on Monday, and there are still a few tickets left, and you can pick those up at boxoffice.tixonthesquare.ca. Now, switching to the other side of MacEwan's Fine Arts, theater students have recreated the 80s cult classic, Heathers the Musical. The Heathers are the original Mean Girls, and it's a play you won't want to miss. The play tells the story of a teenage misfit trying to hustle her way into the popular crowd. Along the way, there's murder, deception, and a ton of really dark but funny teen drama. Director Trevor Schmidt talked about why the play has stayed such a cult classic.
And I think that young people will totally relate to the idea of the isolation that you feel in high school sometimes, and the searching for acceptance amongst your peer group. It's a fun evening.
The play will be running nightly until April 9th, so if you need your dose of hilarious teenage angst, head down to MacEwan campus to check things out. A Juno Award-winning rock band put on a show at the Starlight Room for a very good cause on Thursday. Winter Sleep has partnered with Global Citizen to help fully eradicate the polio virus. The virus is 99% eliminated, but that 1% means there are still millions affected.
We were approached by them a few weeks ago, and they just seemed like really good people, and they gave us kind of the down low, what they've been doing for the last 5 years, and it just, I don't know, it just seemed like a really good thing to be part of.
To learn more about how you can help, visit globalcitizen.org. Now, for this week's viral video, I got a guy playing the massively popular Battlefield 4, and all I'll say is, he plays the game the way it was meant to be played.
This is Stone Mountain Unit 64. Just joined Charlie Squadron. I'm moving in from northeast sector. I'm going to be helping you boys out, moving in on this objective as commanding officer for this mission. Lieutenant Cortez sent me in. Definitely the best of the business here, so you don't have anything to worry about there.
So is anyone else going to mute this guy or what?
Negative on that mute, soldier. Do not silence comm channels. You will respect my orders, soldier. Fall in line.
That guy's muted.
Hostile contact. 1 EKIA in the AO. Stay with me, soldier. Stay up. Here's
The full 3-minute version has over 16 million views, and if everyone played a little more like that guy, I think the gaming community would be a way better place. Now, if you want a chance to win some cool prizes, take part in our Riddle Me Nate promo going on next week. Just follow NAIT NewsWatch on Twitter and keep your eyes peeled for the daily riddles we tweet out. The first person to answer correctly will win a NAIT gift card. All the winners will be entered into a grand prize draw, with the winner being announced on next week's show. So remember to take part in the contest and be the hero NAIT needs. Well, that wraps up another really fun and wild week in entertainment. I'm Nathan Spence. Thanks for joining me and enjoy your weekend.
That has been this week's episode of NAIT NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us.